Nowt, Trader Yorkie here. Once again, trying to find if we can get out for Nowt. We're look at another trading game. This one, of course, being Vagrus, the current ongoing game, where I'm taking it to my time as a Vagrus, the leader of a comitatus back in the Riven Realms. Well, kind of wandered off into the distance a little bit the last time, and now it's time to get back on track. We've made it to Crystal. We can trade there, shall we?
The Riven Realms,
As we continue. Right, actually, we made it to Arkan, I should say. Crystals in the distance. Nestled beneath the thicket of rock pillars called Arkaros Forest, the imperial town of Arkan is constantly beaten by wind and engulfed in fine dust from the jagged waste. However unforgivable though its surroundings are, the settlement's inhabitants thrive thanks to Earth's abundant bounty, marble, limestone, granite and shale. Artists and artisans carve the precious stones in their workshops, and warehouses ceaselessly behind the town's silt-laden walls, under the watchful eyes of the Praetor. Let's start by exploring the city. Appears to be an ordinary day as you roam round the mining settlement of Arkan with a few of your trusted companions and a handful of crew members. A light wind blows from the east, carrying some of the ever-present dust, and all around you hear the cacophony of diligent labour. Not getting to work. Good. There is quite a crowd on the streets, mostly local workers and merchants, wearing masks, turbans. Take a look around. You pass by one of the numerous open-air storage sites. A bunch of heavily perspiring slaves are trying to haul a huge block of marble atop a pile of other slabs. As you walk by, suddenly some of them slip and fall to the ground, and with an incident, their co-workers find themselves balancing their heavy weight with much less manpower than they had before. A piece of marble slowly slips from their sweaty hands and threatens to fall underneath its weight. Yes, go on, boys and girls, get to it! Help them out. And Galen lost loyalty, oh dear. Your slaves rush ahead to help. The screaming grows louder as the slab of marble reaches its balance point and finally topples over. The slaves try to run for it, but they are too late. There is a loud thud and sickening crunch. Breaking bones, then only silence. A red pool of blood starts to spill from underneath the rock. There you can see a few limbs protruding. Oh dear. Well, that's a damn shame, isn't it? Yeah, okay, I guess we'll return. That didn't go too well now. Constant sculptor. There is a curious shop one street off the market. Beneath the shadow of its awning, a variety of strange sculptures, both small and large, stand on display. The statues depict various creatures, mostly sentient beings of the Riven Realms. The only thing they have in common is that they all appear to be unfinished, to some degree, and that their faces seem to express some kind of reverential longing. That pain. From inside the shop, you hear the sound of hammering and chiseling. Well, let's go see what's going on, shall we? There's a skeleton there. You enter a spacious venue stuffed to the walls with sculptures, crafting materials, and all kinds of tools. In the far end, you see an archway opening to a huge inner yard, also filled with statues and large slabs of raw stone. In a corner, an enormous figure stands hunched over a workbench, looking away at something with a chisel. On hearing you enter, it turns around, revealing a sight you were not prepared for. Greetings, I am Thutmose, proprietor of the store. How may I serve you? He, or it, says with a voice reminiscent of two slabs of coarse stone grinding against each other. You can imagine why. It's not exactly natural, that is it? Thutmose looks like a statue himself, but only almost. His limbs and torso appear to be made of crude clay, except for his hands, that are those of a bomb-fingered skeleton. His head is a yellowed skull, with an eerie glow in the eye sockets. And automaton? some kind of golem. Its chest is open, revealing a frail ribcage within the clay hull. All in all, it looks like someone tried to encase a human skeleton inside a constantly damp clay golem. Oh, that's right. But it's not quite finished the job. Ground. Who are you? As I said, my name is Statmas, the creature replies. You can say I'm a sculptor. I assume you also couldn't help but notice that I'm undead. I'm being undead. Indeed. Undead. The expressionless skull on top of the body of clay nods. Are you accustomed to talking skeletons? Of course, such a sight shouldn't have come as a big surprise. A lot of the dead have gained sentience since the rise of the triumvirate. I do not know how I came to be this way, nor who I was before, or how long I had been dead. All I know is that I woke up 13 years ago in the middle of a wasteland, trapped inside this frail body of brittle bones, remembering almost nothing from before but my knack for sculpture. Triumvirate. The Pantheon of God. And the golem body? The teeth of the skull clank together. Is that supposed to be laughter? Well, as you can see, my clod isn't exactly what you could call enduring nor endearing. Given my apparent talent for sculpture, I set myself the task. Create a more robust body made out of clay imbued with magic. He takes his skull. Alas, the work is rather tedious and expensive, thus I haven't finished it yet. I hope to finance my progress by selling my work. But then again, for that I have to leave my hands skeletal for a while longer, as adapting to clay hands would certainly hinder my sculpting. And of course, after the crude shape of my body is done, there will remain a long list of enhancements to be completed. And you're on death? Oh, that's referred. Why are sculptures half finished? But they aren't, Satma says. Art should be a true echo of reality, and my own reality right now is that I'm incomplete. Close the door. As you examine the displayed works, you realise that they are indeed in various stages of completion. The old ones are cruder, while newer sculptures seem to lack only a few finishing touches. See, they reflect upon my various stages of progress. Fascinating. Approaching perfection step by step. I am. One day I shall create the perfect statue, and that day I will be perfect and constant myself. And business? Of course, the skeleton jaws utter, mocking the movement of living mouths. Quite unnecessarily. The voice seems to come from somewhere inside the body. Everything you see around here is for sale. Take your time. I'm also interested in buying statues off you. I don't believe I have anything. No, I don't. Do some other business. Buy a sculpture. Ask about the exquisite wood carving on display. The piece of wood is carved in the form of a humanoid with several arms. It looks twisted and somehow alive, partly due to the texture of the wood and also because of the sculptor's skill. And the small roots hanging from the statue, carved or grown. I made that myself after I bought the strange wood from a curious-looking man. I swear he looked half plant and half human to me. That got me thinking about half-breeds. Am I a half-breed? Half living, half dead, half clay, half bone? Mind me not, please. I tend to go on a tangent. When you ask Fatmas about the property of the statue, he says he doesn't feel anything when holding it, but the plant man swore the material would heal wounds if it will lose. Interesting. It's too expensive. It looks like everything he has is. Glowing crystal statuette? Oh, that. That mischief's in his chair. A woman came to visit this shop years ago. A woman from the heavens. Don't laugh. She was a realms walker. Someone who travels the outer realms. All the strange dimensions. This woman, this seeker and seller of artifacts, that she has found a crystal statue in a city called. Cadmus seems to concentrate for a moment. Celadon? Celadon? Yes, Celadon! I know nothing about it, but whoever carved this statue was very, very good. Even an uninitiated eye can pick up the vastness of the tale in the delicate form and the clean technique. The idol appears to be a humanoid, with two pairs of wings on its back, one larger, smaller. The white inner light glows relic. Unfortunately, that must know little of its properties. Interesting. I think we'll go. I can't afford what he's got. The Trail of the Beast. Or Levantius the Burdened. Siltwade Street shows us briefly under the hot daytime sun, fragrant with sharp, bitter odour of tobacco and bogweed, sold by a multitude of vendors here. Make your way to a three-storied white building where Levantius dwells, offered all kinds of baccy, scents, reefers, pipes, hookahs, and the like. Materials and accessories for the connoisseurs of recreational smoking. We dismiss the merchants who are here for a different reason. Enter the lodging. The ground floor of the building is occupied by yet another tobacco shop, the owner of which simultaneously serves as the landlord. A handful of tiny rooms she rents out for those who look for a long-term yet temporary stay in her. The Tarkian woman doesn't seem to care too much for confidentiality, the safety of the privacy of a guest, as she immediately and without question points you to the upmost floor when you ask for Levantius. Ascending a ladder, you come to what is basically the rooftop, covered by a large tent and rickety septums. To add a few more bedrooms for the building. In one of the more spacious ones, you find a young dark-haired slender fellow dressed in a tunic, wearing half-moon glasses, and over a shaky desk he improvised from small crates, a travelling chest, and various ledgers. Need neither smoke, no food, no wine, no women. He mutters without looking at you as he hears you. Busy with calculations. Not now, not later, not ever. I'm sure I already mentioned that. I'm told you might need this, you say, waving a letter you were given to deliver, straight from the Magistrate of Taxes in Torzak's shelter. Levantius, that is. That seems to pique his interest. The young man looks at you, his face suggesting sharp wit. His eyes probing. I am. He replies, I'm indeed. Who are you? You introduce yourself to him and hand him the letter. Finally, things do seem to move along, and utterly unexpected surprise. He mumbles himself, and thank you. He unfolds the letter and starts reading immediately. Then, without looking up, he adds absently, pleased to meet you, of course. Then, within an instant, he seems to forget you're even there. At first he reads eagerly, but after a few moments of expression of jaded disappointment appears on his face. Splendid, he sighs, and then goes on sputtering. Now there's the Imperial bureaucracy in full swing as I know it. Reliably incompetent as ever. Good job, you cretins. Top of the line indeed. What? Would that you encountered a slaughtered bull during mating season. You demonstratively clear your throat. Levantius looks up once again, slightly irritated. Still here, he states matter of fact. There's something you wanted, then remembers, but of course. Pay you the fee for delivery, forgive me. Just have a lot on my mind, and this piece of moronic writing certainly didn't diminish any of it. Not your fault now, is it? After some rummaging, he finds a coin and gives it to you. Again, you've certainly travelled far to bring this to me. A thought crosses his mind. In one lurk. Something, I guess. Say, friend, he continues while he examines you pensively. Am I right to assume that you are quite a traveller? Levantius nods at the same time as he's answered in his own question. Of course it is. Would you care to take me with you as a passenger, in case you have plans to visit Lumen anytime soon? For more than a fair compensation, of course, as it turns out. He reads at the letter he received. I must leave Arkan earlier than expected and return to my employer. Where is Lumen? Lumen's over there, and I'm heading to Crystal. So, we could, in fact, go that way. That's fine. Only if the price is right. Good. Thank you. At least that's one problem out of the way. I shall give you an advance for your troubles right now. The rest you'll receive from my employer, Mrs. Kendek, as soon as we arrive. Just let me gather my things and cancel my stay here. That weed-breathing hag downstairs, I promise not to be a burden. My charger. Okay. The Trail of the Beast. Walking through the dusty streets of Arkan, you come upon a town crier, announcing various news of general interest, such as current market prices and open job opportunities. One of these catches your ear, and let it be known that Herman the Herder is willing to grant a substantial reward to anyone brave enough to go after the vile beast haunting the outskirts of our fair city. The man can be found at the lodgings near the main gate. Let's see what he's talking about, shall we? You find Herman the Herder sitting in front of his hut near the city gates, just as advertised. All around him, various animal skins are displayed on racks, while behind his abode, various pens containing various livestock stretch as far as the eye can see. The burly man with sunburnt skin. You tell him you are here about the job. Herman nods. Finally, someone. Let me give you the details. It all started out 2 months ago when my animals began to disappear. One or two falling prey to wasteland predators is no big deal in itself around here. And it became regular, 3 a week, 4 a week. Catch my drift. And then just a fortnight ago, one of the boys tending to the flock went missing. Another one. It's quite obvious to me that there's some vicious monster at work here. I'm not convinced. I suspect some other form of foul play. One critter that's got itself some mighty appetite for easy prey. I already complained to the town militia, but they won't do anything. More occupied with guarding those precious marble slabs of theirs. I wonder if you're inclined to help me. A dozen silver is all I can offer, gathered from the hands of locals. Right. Thank you, Vagrus. The last victim of the creature, whatever it might be, was a young boy herding some slurats. It happened about a day's walk from the northern city walls, an abandoned quarry. I'll look for it. Right. I have flies, luxury wine, liver. I thought I had something. Now we lost 3 slaves. I can buy one. Wait, what? Where'd the money go? Oh. I guess we'd better hope that we can find this beast, hadn't we? Mistake buying that slave. Oh, can't do anything. I see. Slaves are in part responsible for preparing and handing out food. Fortunately, there's a lot of opportunities for error, and being disgruntled, your slaves do slip up. It's just not been very savoury. I'll let it go for now. Your venture was a small quarry mentioned by Herman. It is not particularly hard to find. It is completely abandoned, and still, with only the ever-present desert wind blowing through the rickety scaffolding, all excavation pit. Soon you spots where the slaughtered herd had disappeared. Dreadful mess. Right. It takes some effort, but the site yields some useful information after all. After meticulous search, you find half-buried tracks indicating a huge many-legged creature who shed pieces of chitin. A bit further away on the soft ground is a slightly caved in. Maybe something has dug its way through there. At the edge of the hole, you find the residue of some gooey gelatinous material. Horrible stench. Isn't there maybe some kind of substance? What is it? In case you're not mistaken, you are up against a Zern, formidable beast, maybe one of the most dangerous creatures in all of Zenin. Knowing that you start feeling intimidated, it is indeed a Zern. Might be in for a much harder fight than you're bargaining for, perhaps even one that's winnable. On finding the first few tracks, it didn't take long to uncover the prints leading away. Follow it! Following the tracks of the monster haunting, you soon come across a mound littered with bones. Monster must be nearby. You have to be careful. Look for signs. You leave the comatose behind and enter a maze full of stone pillars. The rocky wasteland is ominously silent as you look around, almost too silent. No matter how meticulously you search, you cannot find anything. And then you suddenly hear a loud hissing sound and the dusty soil explodes into air around you. You are hurled back by a huge dark shape emerging from below the ground. An insectoid creature of enormous proportions raises its stinger to impale you. It seems the beast terrorizing Arkan's vicinity has set a trap for you as you venture too close to its lair. Oh dear. Right, this giant scorpion. And that's all we've got to fight it with. I think we're dead. Ow! Yes, I'd rather think we're dead. That was a miss. Oh dear. The last thing you feel is a scorpion sting piercing your chest. A journey. That was the end of my time as a Vagrus. Short journey. Well, when's our series? Something else will be joining the channel.